Hey, buddy, let's be honest, this season was nothing short of a horror movie for us Cowboys fans. A 7-10 record. And don't even get me started on the 2-7 performance at home. Can you believe it? AT&T Stadium was supposed to be a fortress, but instead, it felt like an open door for every team to come in and walk all over us. That last game against the Commanders was the cherry on top of this bitter cake. Marcus Mariota's game-winning throw to Terry McLaurin, it was like the final twist in a bad movie, and just like that, the season ended, leaving us with more questions than answers. But you know what? We're not here to sulk. Now that the season is over, it's time to look ahead. And let me tell you, there's a lot to think about. Jerry Jones has some tough decisions to make: coaching staff, contracts, free agents, the whole 9 yards. What do you think is the biggest issue? Is it McCarthy, the roster, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of tough calls, here's a quick poll for you. Should the Cowboys stick with Mike McCarthy as head coach? A, yes, give him another chance. B, no, it's time for a change. Vote below and let's see where we all stand. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. We've got a lot to unpack, starting with McCarthy. Let's dive in. All right, let's talk about Mike McCarthy. Here's the big question: should Jerry Jones keep him as the head coach, or is it time to part ways? You and I both know McCarthy has had his ups and downs, but this season felt like a tipping point. Jerry himself hinted at how much work needs to be done, and honestly, it's got everyone wondering what's next. You remember how long it took to move on from Jason Garrett, right? That process was slow and emotional, and Jerry has admitted it wasn't easy because of the deep connection they had. McCarthy's situation feels different, though. Jerry said he's willing to evaluate everything, whether there's a contract in place or not. Translation: nobody's job is safe. Here's a question for you. If McCarthy stays, do you think he can turn things around? Or would bringing in a new coach be the spark this team needs? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's get real. Keeping McCarthy might mean another year of what-ifs, but changing coaches also has its risks. Think about all the adjustments a new coach brings: new playbooks, new strategies, and the inevitable rebuilding year. It's a gamble either way, but Jerry doesn't seem afraid of rolling the dice. Quick vote time. If the Cowboys let McCarthy go, who should replace him? A, Don Quimby, Kellen Moore, C, an outside hire. Share your pick in the comments. Whatever happens, one thing is clear: Jerry's decision on McCarthy will shape the future of this team. And with so much at stake, you can bet the pressure is on. Now that we've unpacked the McCarthy dilemma, let's shift gears and talk about someone else in the hot seat: Mike Zimmer. Stay with me. All right, let's talk about another big question mark: Mike Zimmer. If McCarthy's situation wasn't complicated enough, Zimmer's future with the Cowboys is also up in the air. Jerry Jones didn't hold back. When asked about him, he admitted he hasn't even considered what Zimmer might want for his own future. Typical Jerry, right? It's all about what he wants. Here's the thing, though: Zimmer's been a critical piece for this coaching staff. Whether or not you're a fan of his style, you can't deny his impact on the defense. So, if Jerry decides to let Zimmer go, it raises another tough question: who's stepping up to fill that void? What do you think? Should Zimmer stay, or is it time for a fresh face to take over? Let's make it a poll. A, keep Zimmer for continuity. B, move on and find someone new. Vote down below, and don't forget to explain your choice in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you think. Now, let's get into the bigger picture. Zimmer's fate is just one part of the puzzle. With so many coaching contracts up in the air, it feels like the Cowboys are standing at a crossroads. Every decision Jerry makes or doesn't make will ripple across the entire team. Speaking of decisions, Jerry also touched on something that every fan is dying to know about: Micah Parsons and his future with the team. Stick around, because what he said might surprise you. Let's dive into one of the most important topics for any Cowboys fan: Micah Parsons. Jerry Jones didn't shy away from talking about Micah's future during his press conference, and honestly, it's a lot to unpack. You and I both know Micah is the cornerstone of this defense. His versatility, speed, and leadership have made him one of the most feared defenders in the league. So, naturally, the question of locking him into a long-term deal is a hot topic. Jerry casually mentioned that he'd already spoken to Mike, and get this, they even started the conversation during a Cotton Bowl game. Classic Jerry, right? Mixing business with football. But here's the catch: Jerry made it clear he won't rush into a deal. He's not going to let pressure from fans or media dictate his timeline. That's got me wondering, do you think that's the right approach? Or should Jerry prioritize getting this deal done ASAP? Let's talk about it in the comments. Here's a question for you: how much do you think Micah deserves on his next contract? Should he become the highest paid defensive player in the league? Vote below. A, yes, pay him whatever it takes. B, no, keep it reasonable and build the rest of the roster. The thing is, locking up Micah isn't just about money, it's about sending a message. It says the Cowboys are serious about competing for championships. But Jerry's approach seems to be about playing the long game. He's thinking about how Micah's deal will affect future moves, especially with Doc and CeeDee Lamb already carrying hefty contracts. Speaking of Doc, Jerry had some strong words about his quarterback and the team's overall outlook for 2025. You're going to want to hear this, so let's jump into it next. Now, let's talk about Jerry Jones' vision for the Cowboys in 2025, and let me tell you, his comments were nothing short of classic Jerry. When asked if all-in would remain the mantra, he responded with his usual swagger, mentioning Doc Prescott's contract as proof. Jerry essentially said, "Isn't hundreds of millions for Doc enough all-in for you?" But here's the question every fan is asking, is it really enough? Sure, Doc is a cornerstone, and Jerry emphasized the offensive line, the skilled players, and the defense's reasons to be optimistic. But does that sound like a team ready to compete with the league's best? Let's be honest with each other here. The Cowboys have shown flashes of greatness, but flashes don't win championships. We need consistency, and that starts with how this team is built. Jerry's confidence is great and all, but are you convinced that the current roster, as it stands, has what it takes to go all the way? I want to hear your thoughts. Let's make this a vote. A yes, Jerry's plan sounds promising. B no, we need bigger changes to be a real contender. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Jerry doubled down on Doc, saying he believes the Cowboys have some of the best quarterbacking in the game. He's also counting on a strong rushing attack and protection from the offensive line. That sounds good on paper, but we've heard this before, haven't we? If Jerry truly believes in this roster, then 2025 needs to be the year we see it all come together. No more excuses, no more second guessing. And most importantly, no more 7 to 10 seasons. But wait, Jerry didn't stop there. He went on to address a question that's been on every fan's mind for years. Would he ever give up his role as GM? His response, a hard no. He made it clear that this is his team and he's in it for life. That brings us to the final piece of this puzzle. With Jerry calling all the shots, can the Cowboys realistically reach their full potential? Let's wrap this up in the next chapter. All right, let's get real. The final question we have to ask ourselves is simple. Can the Cowboys truly reach their full potential with Jerry Jones at the helm? Jerry made it clear during his press conference that he's not stepping away as GM anytime soon. He even joked about buying the team for himself, not as an investment or for his kids. It's obvious this is personal for Jerry. He's all in, not just financially, but emotionally. And that's where things get complicated. As fans, we love Jerry's passion, but his role as both owner and GM has often been a double-edged sword. On one hand, his willingness to spend, his deep love for the Cowboys are unmatched. On the other, his decision-making as GM has raised questions year after year. So, let's throw it to you. Do you think the Cowboys can win another Super Bowl with Jerry as the GM? Drop your opinion in the comments. Here's a poll to make it simple. A yes, Jerry can lead us to another championship. B no, we need a fresh perspective in the front office. The truth is, as long as Jerry remains in charge, the Cowboys will always carry his fingerprints. That means the highs, the lows, and everything in between are part of his legacy. But here's the thing, you and I both know the clock is ticking. The Cowboys haven't reached the big game in decades, and fans like us are tired of waiting. So, what's next? Jerry says he's optimistic about the future, but optimism doesn't equal results. It's time for actions to speak louder than words. As we head into 2025, the pressure is on for Jerry, for McCarthy if he stays, and for this entire organization. And now, I want to hear from you. What do you think the Cowboys need to do differently to finally make that championship dream a reality? Let's brainstorm in the comments.